Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nathan Fabricant, and I am the fastest man alive, bringing you the ESL Pro Tour StarCraft 2 Weekly. We have our first matchup of the qualifier, I guess. It's not really a qualifier. In a roundabout sort of way it is, because there's points on the line, so in my mind it's a qualifier. You're playing for, what, 10 ESL Pro Tour points, and second place gets 5. This is the third NA qualifier. In the bottom right, we have the blue Terran player representing the United States of America. He is Jason. This is the part where someone reminds me that he's Canadian, but it's okay because Jason and I are good friends, so I can make mistakes like that. His opponent in the northwest position, spawning as the Naranja Zerg. He is Salitre. So very exciting times to be able to start doing some weekend casts. And many of you guys are aware that I have gotten back into doing a lot more commentary on professional StarCraft matches, at least on my channel. Some of them, well, most of them have been NA players at this point, and that's just always going to be a thing for me because I really have a lot to do in terms of just other stuff, I guess, sometimes. So it's hard to cover the European stuff. I wanted to do the European qualifier today, but it started at something like, what? At least for me, it started at like 4 in the morning in California. So, and the Korean one started at midnight. So it's just, or like 9 o'clock last night. So it's just really hard to get through all of that. But let's see what happens in today's NA qualifier. We'll see who makes it the furthest. Jason's been a really fun Terran player to follow, as he has been quickly improving. I remember the days when I used to be able to take games off of him on the ladder, and now he is so good, I literally cannot get put up against him. So, with that being said, I'm excited. These games are being played live. This is a best of 3, Terran versus Zerg. The way these weeklies work is it's best of 3 all the way until the finals, where it becomes a best of 5. If I got any of this information wrong, someone will correct me, and I will do my best to improve that and let all of you know in the future. I've only played in 2 of these. How could I possibly not know all of the rules? So Jason, pretty standard Reaper opening, trying to put on a little bit of harass. Usually the goal with this type of play, you want to keep the drone from getting to the third and starting that hatch. We are on Simulacrum, which is a very large map. You have that very wide open third base that's on the low ground. It's got that high ground pitch. Next to it, you can try to put some staging ground for an attack later on in these areas. Now, Salitre is not a player that I know too much about. I have not played him on the ladder. I have not been able to see too many of his games. So my expectations for this match is Jason's going to play pretty straight up. He is one of the last bastions of Terran players that will go for those bio builds. Mech has kind of taken over the Terran versus Zerg matchup ever since the big buffs to the Thor, which has really started to dominate the matchup in the late game if you are able to survive Swarm Hosts, pretty much. If Swarm Hosts don't kill you and you're playing mech and you get 10 Thors, the game is usually over at that point if the Zerg doesn't have something really wild up their sleeve. So let's see what Jason wants to do. And I only say that we're focusing a little bit on the Terran for the opener here because generally speaking, the Zerg's goal is going to be to saturate up to those 3 bases and then try to take that 4th with the move into lair tech just in time to respond to whatever the opponent is going to be throwing your way, whether it be a Hellbat attack. This Overlord is looking for an armory or a fusion core, something like that. And oftentimes, a lot of Terran players these days, they want to build a Viking to start, so they kind of do this fake stem and they'll cancel it. But for the most part, it looks like Jason's going to be doing a relatively straightforward bio follow-up. This command center does not wall off, so a few lanes are going to be able to get in for Salitre. But 3 Zerglings does not a harass make, as Yoda would say. So this Marine does barely die. Oh my god, if he blocks it. Oh, well, he's not actually landing on that. So he's just got the Reaper Hellion doing a bit of a poke. And this is one of those reasons why that scout for Salitre is so important to be aware of whether or not your opponent is going to be morphing those Hellbats in front of your base, whether or not a battle cruiser is going to teleport into your main. It is just the Liberator and Hellion Harass. So this is going to be a little bit more of a lighter variety. The Hellions still want to try and poke those drones if possible, but you don't need to make a ton of Banelings. You don't need to make a ton of Zerglings. Your Queens can pretty much do most of the defense here. since this isn't as committed from the Terran. If those Hellions do decide to eat themselves into the natural, he could get some damage done, and Jason is going to go for it. He's got the Liberator parked inside of the main. 10 plus drones roasted and toasted as he gets onto the mineral line with a great lineup shot on those mineral patches. Now Salitre continuing to add queens. He's going to go up to 8, but by the time he gets there, he's lost 23 drones, and oh no, possibly more. An absolutely brutal, devastating opening here from Jason onto Salitre's base. Down this many workers is going to make things quite difficult. And honestly, in a lot of scenarios like this, if you're a Zerg player, your hope would be, oh God, I hope the Terran player is going mech because it has that slow wind up. It's easy to overwhelm, even with a lower Zerg economy if they try to push out sub-max supply. But Jason has his stim done. 1-1 has started. We do have, it looks like it's going to be a Marine tank setup, and the medevac production is about to begin. So Salitre he's going to need something to go really crazily well in his favor. If I was trying to be less objective, I would just tell you that I think Salitre is dead. But I'm going to try and contain a little bit of the mystery. We're going to try and look for opportunities where he can get something going. He does have a significant number of queens that can try to push back any sort of medevac drops. The big kickers are going to be, he wants to get that lair and baneling speed, because once Jason starts moving across the map, and well, he's starting to move across the map. I got to be honest with you guys. There's really not a whole lot that can stop this push. Even though it's just 12 Marines, he's got the 2 medevacs coming in behind it. Extra barracks are already being started. Third base planted, over half saturation. And with this scan, there's really nothing here to deal with, just these naked Marines with the tanks. And they're going to stim without medevacs, but it does not matter. GG is called. Jason takes game number 1 in this best of 3.